Good morning. We're just going to go through the Go Live. So if you're a restaurant that's recently signed up, if you paid the $299, obviously you'll get the device. So a lot of the setup's already been done for you. However, if you haven't had that set up, you haven't paid for the device, then you have to go through the manual sort of setup, and this video is to go through that. So obviously to use Takeaway Revolution, you'll need a mobile device. That could be an iPhone, it can be an Android, it can be an iPad. It's pretty much open as long as it's got able to download from the App Store or Google Play, then that's absolutely fine. Or it can be manually loaded in on the Android sort of devices. So some of the delivery devices will allow you to install software on there in manually. And then obviously if you want to print your order, you'll need a printer. Obviously, if you're paying $299, you'll get a device that has got the printer and the mobile built into the one device. So it's a straightforward sort of scenario. But again, like I said, if you want to use your own devices, you can. That's not a problem on there. Okay. So obviously on the Takeaway Revolution website, takeawayrevolution.co.uk, you've got under apps, you've got Go Live. Click on that. Obviously, you've got the instructions to let it go for the Go Live. Obviously, this video talks you through that sort of side. So obviously, the first thing you need is a payment sort of gateway. Payment we use is Stripe. It's a low cost sort of solution. There's no monthly cost on there, and it's pretty easy to set up. Again, we can help you set that up if you need that setting. Other than that, if you want to go ahead and set up and then send us your details, we can then configure that into your app ready for you. So that's Stripe, stripe.com, and again we'll go through that with you if you need that help. So next, obviously, as I mentioned to you before, we need the actual mobile device, so that's straightforward. The other one is the printer. Now, we accept any Bluetooth printer. Obviously, this is a BT thermal printer, and it supports ESC/POS. That's the kind of standard requirements, and most Bluetooth printers allow you to do that. Okay. And then obviously next you need to, on your device, you need to download the app. If you go into the App Store, you've got Takeaway Revolution. You can see we've got it actually installed on this app already, so we can click on open. But you can download that from Google Play or the Apple App Store. We open that. So when you first log in, when you first open up, it'll ask you to log in. Obviously, your login details will be given to you, and obviously it goes straight to this main screen here. This is your main sort of interface. Orders that will come in. Obviously, incoming is that it's just literally come from somebody's mobile device over to yours, and it's waiting for you to acknowledge, and you can acknowledge that or reject that, depends on what you want to do. Once you've accepted that, it goes into outgoing. Now, outgoing, you need to think it's basically a kitchen. So that's in your kitchen, and it's being prepared at that point. And then finally, you got ready. So it's pretty straightforward. That's when it goes over to your driver, or is ready for pickup, or whatever you're doing at that point. So that's pretty straightforward on there. Next one, if you're doing table bookings, and again you got, if somebody's requested a table booking, you got the incoming, and then you got the cancellations and the ones that have actually been completed over there. So again, that's straightforward. And then on this screen down here, notifications. You've just got the standard as any updates to the orders all notified in there. Obviously, once you set your account up, you get the username and password. You just need to make sure your mobile number's right and your email address. Into settings, you can change your password. You can set a PIN, so if you want to add that extra level of security, so rather than just having an open app, you can put a PIN to open the app. And then you've got language as well, so if you need to change a language, if we set that for you, then you can change the language. So for instance, if you want to receive your orders in Chinese, then you can do so. Okay. And finally, we go down to the bottom, you got printers. So this is the setup of the printer. So if we go into settings, you get this notification to say that we're going to be using your device location. That's purely for the Bluetooth printer, and to better use your Bluetooth printer, you need to click on the turn on there and allow while using the app. That brings up this interface, and we can now configure a printer. Okay, I'm just going to put there, searching for printer. Right, okay, let's go back into there. There we go. Just needed that little bit of a refresh on there. Okay, so now the Bluetooth printer's there. You get the option to auto print. So if you want, as and when the orders come in, for it to automatically print, you can do so. It's pretty straightforward. So you just put matter of print and tick in there. So every time an order comes in, it'll automatically print. Or you can have it automatically print after it's been accepted. So again, once you've accepted that order, that's when it'll print out. And then finally, you got the print test. So we're going to go for print test, and we should get a print out on there. And you can see that's gone through fine. So it's test receipt. And then once we're happy, we click on save. So you'll see the Bluetooth printer come up there. And now every time an order comes in, it will automatically print through to this printer here. So providing obviously the phone's in range of the printer, is pretty much straightforward. Other things you need to check, obviously in info, just make sure your details are correct. You've got your restaurant name, you've got telephone number, contact names and everything down on there. It should already be set up for you, as well as all the Google Maps sort of information, which helps your customers to find you. So changes, and then you've got settings. So this is your logo, and then your header. So that's your top of the screen. If you want any promotions, you can put into there. Obviously that's just a standard logo. And then again, just make sure that everything's set up there as you want it. So any printing sort of sizes, it's up to you. If you need to change the size of the font on the printer, it's easy to do. If you need to close a store, then you can do that by clicking on that button. Show the current time, which is not really that useful at the moment, but it's for our overseas customers. Disable ordering, so if you're doing a menu build, you can disable the ordering sort of side, and then obviously you've got things like your vouchers and your delivery time required and things like that. So, and again, things like your pickup and delivery, what's your minimum requirements for delivery. Pickup is probably going to be open because they're coming to pick it up. And again, dine-in, you know, we can set ranges for if you want to specify how much somebody can spend on the dine-in. It's up to you. Packaging charge, so we've got something called Packaging Wise. So if you're looking at obviously the sustainability, you can charge for the packaging. So in some places there's a legal requirement, such in Scotland, so you can enable the Packaging Wise there. And then you've got your standard tax and delivery charges. What's your standard charges? And you can turn them on and off. Delivery estimation, you can set average sort of time for delivery, and then how many miles you'll cover. So that's pretty crucial there. So if you're only 10 miles at a radius, then you can specify that in there. Tips, if you want a customer to leave you tips. And then your store hours, again, this is all pretty much set up for you. That's that. And then you got your opening. And your opening, you got two times you can set. If you open during the day and then open in the evening, you can set that. And again, customers can't order until your opening times. And again, you know, if you want to accept pre-orders, you can accept pre-orders there, so it does give you that ability, as well as any holiday messages, so you can set all that. It's pretty straightforward. And then that's pretty much it on that side. Obviously, other things that you'll need to check. You just go onto our website, takeawayheroes.co.uk, and you click on this little icon here, and you can then type in the name. So you got the Demo Kebab and Pizza House, and then you can do a search. Just bear in mind that you will need your postcode. So if I put the postcode in there and browse restaurant, and there we go. So we've got the Demo Kebab House. Okay. And in there, what you need to do is obviously load up the page. And the key areas that you can check here, obviously, you make sure that the categories are correct and the number of in that category. And again, once you click on one of those, it then brings down the menu, and just make sure that those are correct on there. If you click on any of those, obviously it opens up, and you can just make sure that any of the subcategories are correct, and make sure the pricing is correct. There should be, again, you provide us with the menus, we'll go through that, but it's a quick way of just making sure that everything is correct on there. And again, from here you can see your opening hours. If you set the opening hours, your reviews, your map, so your location, your photos. So again, you can stick some photos on there which will show up on the mobile apps, and then any extra information. Obviously on the right hand side you can see it's one of our demo stores, so it tells you how far we are away from that demo store, and then how long it's going to take. So again, these can be preset, can go by location, and then how many miles you're covered. And obviously you can see from here we couldn't order from this particular location because it's too far away. I'd have to change my location to being a bit closer to that. But again, for demo purposes, you can see on here, if I click on that, I can select various different selections. And again, the mobile apps run up very similar to this as well. But you should be able to go through and add that to cart. And then you can just see that the actual order has been put there. Obviously, there's contact-free delivery, which is new COVID requirements. And the customer can obviously go for as soon as possible, or if they want a timed delivery, so you're not opened at the moment, but they want something for later, again, they can do that. But again, the main thing is that we need you to do here is just make sure that the menu is correct, and there's not any problems on the menu. So spending about an hour or so just to go through the options and just make sure that everything looks correct to you, and finally just making sure that delivery distance is correct. Obviously you're not going to do 500 miles, and like I said, that is purely a demo sort of site, but again, that's one thing that you'll need to go through and verify. And finally, obviously your name and your address, and then obviously your categories that you've been found under, and any telephone numbers. So again, you can go through that, very straightforward. If you've got any questions, or if you want to feed anything back to us, or if you're going through this sort of setup and you just need that additional bit of training, then obviously get in touch. We can provide you sort of a remote sort of session for training, to go through that. But any questions, then obviously let us know. All right, thank you very much for your time.